So, good afternoon and welcome to Let's Make a Mystery, a presentation of the Florida Gulf Coast chapter of Sisters in Crime and the New England chapter of Sisters in Crime. I'm Lisa Lieberman, president of the New England chapter and your host. Before we get started, I'd like to first offer a big thank you to our festival hosts for providing Sisters in Crime with the opportunity to participate in the festival. The hardworking staff of the Lee County Library System has done an exceptional job organizing this festival. As a reader, author, and Sister in Crime member, I thank you. I also want to tell you a little bit about Sisters in Crime. Our organization is filled with people just like you and me who love mystery, murder, and mayhem. Sisters in Crime was founded in 1986 by 26 mystery writers, all of them women, among them Sarah Paretsky, Nancy Pickard, and Charlotte McLeod. Its mission? To support women mystery writers in the largely man's world of publishing. Back then, even the greatest of women writers struggled for equity in publishing contracts, marketing resources, book award nominations, and access to bookstores, libraries, and reviews. Now, 35 years later, crime writing is no longer a man's world. Women crime writers are thriving, and Sisters in Crime supports more than 4,200 members and 70 chapters worldwide. We are an inclusive, diverse group bound together by the love of a good crime fiction read. I encourage you to join our truly unique community, which shares your passion for mystery, thrillers, and suspense. And you can learn more about Sisters in Crime and the local chapter in your area on our national website, which you can find at sistersInCrime.org. Now I'd like to introduce you to my fellow Sisters in Crime who are with me here today. I'll start with Linda McHenry. Linda, tell us a little about yourself, please.
Well, I write nonfiction and fiction. I've published some mystery novels, some nonfiction novels, short stories, and I just love the organization and love doing these mystery making events.
Thanks. Next up, Tonya Price. Introduce yourself to our friends outside.
I'd be happy to do that. I'm Tonya Price. I'm also a nonfiction and fiction writer. I'm the author of the Business Books for Writers series, and I'm a mystery and thrillers writer with a story in the American Best Mystery Stories of 2019. And I'm really happy to be here and hope you have a great time today.
And finally, Lorraine Sharma Nelson, who is the vice president of our New England chapter. Please tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lorraine, and I am a proud short story writer, and I am also a proud Trekkie. I've had 14 stories published in anthologies across the genre board, but mysteries are my favorites. And I think my latest story, I think I have my publisher here, Sarah Glenn. Hello. My latest story is in her new Mardi Gras anthology.
Thank you, Lorraine. One of the neat things that you're going to learn today is that we all come from different traditions in the mystery genre. So I write historical mysteries, and mine are set in the 1950s, and my characters are blacklisted Hollywood people. Lorraine writes a more domestic series. Linda, the book I've been reading in manuscript involves some mysterious fires that have been set, and Tonya is kind of all over the map. She writes a little bit of everything, including science fiction. So when we get together and put our minds around this mystery, you're going to be getting some very different perspectives. And I encourage you to try and steer the story in the direction that you would like it to go by thinking of creative character names, locations that need not be, in today's world. You could set your story in another era, in another place. And we will be following your suggestions in the chat box. That's where you're going to put them. And we'll be using them. And each of us is going to select ones that seem to fit the kind of mysteries that we like and enjoy. But we will be giving you an opportunity as the story develops to help us steer it in the direction you'd like. So this is a truly interactive experience. And now I'm going to explain how it works. We are going to start by asking for character names, and you're going to put your suggestions in the chat box, and we will be monitoring that. We also have someone monitoring it behind the scenes. So if the suggestions are coming fast and furious and they're, whizzing to the top of the screen before we see them, Martha, who's monitoring this, will repeat them and type them out so that we don't miss anything really juicy. And I do encourage you to come up with some really creative names. A name tells you so much. If you think about the characters in Walter Mosley, for example, Easy Rollins, Fearless Jones, those kind of names really suggest things. They give you something to work with. In one of these mystery making presentations that we did, someone came up with the name Two Toes Tapper. Immediately, we knew this person was a musician, and we wondered what happened to the other 8 toes, which led us to think he had a troublesome past. We wound up setting that story in 1930s Chicago, and we figured Two Toes was a gangster, or he got on the wrong side of some gangsters. So without further ado, I'm going to ask you to start suggesting some character names for us, and we will get started riffing on them.
Start typing those names in your chat box for us.
The chat box is at the bottom of the screen. And
Albert Roundhorn.
Pinky McNeil.
Pinky McNeil. Okay.
Okay. Tonya, you wanna play with one of those?
Well, Pinky McNeil, that immediately sounds like a gangster to me.
Oh.
That's why, a Scottish gangster. Which I'm thinking, where would a Scottish gangster come from?
I think Pinky's a woman.
Oh, that could be.
Ooh, a Scottish woman gangster.
Who always wears pink.
Yes, that's her trademark color, like you, Linda. And she likes.
I was thinking Pinky, like your Pinky, right?
Yeah, I think of her as being pretty short.
Well, maybe she's missing a Pinky. Maybe she's missing a Pinky in some violent thing.
Gorgeous. I love that. Now, I just like to get a little more sense of what she wears, and besides missing a Pinky and being short, does she and perhaps always wearing pink? Are there some other things that we can help to tag her appearance?
I think she always wears a vest.
A vest?
I just see her, wearing like a pink vest or a white vest with pink buttons,
All right.
And sneakers, because she's always running away.
There you go.
This is a great touch.
Yep, we could do that. That's cool. What do you guys think? Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Gloves with a fake Pinky inside. There you go.
A prosthetic
Pinky. And she uses the pink color. Maybe she's really, really sensitive about the lack of it. So she wears the gloves with the fake Pinky so no one knows, and she uses pink color. Again, all this to deflect from what really happened. And maybe whatever the mystery is linked to that.
And Carol Jones suggests she carries a pink revolver. So I'm getting the idea that she is like a hit woman or something like this.
There you go. There you go.
We've got the hit woman who is a villainess and perhaps also has something that's troubling in her past, which is why she wears the sneakers so she can always run away.
But she also has a complex because, like Linda said, she wears that prosthetic Pinky,
right?
And she's very sensitive about it. So we have a gangster with a complex.
There you go. Right. And I think Felix Jagger has to be somebody who claims to be Mick Jagger's brother, but he can't spell the name right, so everyone knows that he's got a problem.
That's yes.
This is starting to look like the gang that couldn't shoot straight.
So maybe it's a comedy. So we have that's it. See, somebody just said a fake Jagger. We have the woman who has the prosthetic Pinky. We've got a theme going already.
Right.
All right.
Come on, people, give us some more names.
Abel Devlin.
Vladimir de la Guerra. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. The mix of
Vladimir de la Guerra. My goodness, that's That is really good.
He wears fancy suits.
Yeah. How about if Vladimir is actually has some kind of a bust going with Pinky's gang? You know, they're working on a joint endeavor together.
Maybe
Bad,
he's Pinky's
of course,
boss.
like something that's totally against the law. But maybe they're on they have a drug. A drug coalition that they're doing together or something, but Vladimir leads his gang, and Pinky leads hers. They're complete opposites. He has all his fingers.
All right.
Now, are they on two different gangs or are they on the same gang?
Or is he her boss?
You
want him
as
the
a boss,
or
okay.
you want him the rival boss? See, Pinky.
I was
Pinky
thinking
could
he
have
would be a rival boss. Yeah.
Pinky could have her own
That's what I
gang.
thought. Rival.
Pinky has her own gang, and Vladimir might be, kind of like their arch rivals or something like that.
So we have a high class gang and a low class gang, huh?
And Gwen.
Oh, and I like that smuggling antiquities. Maybe instead of drugs, it could be something to do with that antiquities.
That keeps it from getting too dark. I don't know why, but I just feel like we want to keep this light. We've started with some humor and
What about Priscilla
comedy.
Pennygood? Who's Priscilla Pennygood? Is that Pinky's right hand person?
so to speak.
Sorry.
No.
You have all this alliteration too,
Priscilla
could also be the person who actually handles the smuggling of the antiquities.
Yes, she has an antique shop. She's the front.
Yeah, Priscilla Pennygood Antique.
Yeah, the front. She's the front.
So she's the person who passes these things off.
Right.
Now I want to imagine what she's like. I want her to be very different sort.
She could be an accountant type person
Pinky.
with that name.
Priscilla Pennygood, right? She counts her pennies.
Right.
So she's very efficient. She's wears her hair in a bun, very tight little bun, and she's always really neat. Every button is buttoned up. She's the sort of person who carries her own little lint roller. And she's so if someone comes into the shop who's a little dusty or how you put cat hair on you, it goes off to wherever you are. She's got her little lint roller out.
There you go. Okay.
And I see her as being very bird-like, like these quick little rushed movements, and she takes these quick little steps when she walks, and
very precise.
Yes,
very precise little steps, right?
All right. So we've actually.
And she notices the details.
Yes.
There you go.
Very
right. She would be. Now, you see this new name, Ned Farias?
Ned Farias. Now that is obviously someone who doesn't want his real name out there.
Unlike everybody else in this story, like Vladimir de la Guerra.
Right.
I mean, that's
But I feel like he's using that name to cover his real identity. Because
you suspect, huh?
maybe he's one of those guys who's
he's the cop. He's the cop,
undercover
or he's
cop.
He's the law enforcement authority, or he's the investigator, or he's whoever it is who's on the trail of them, and he just hops in and assumes a name just like all of them.
Okay. Right, but you know what? Ned is not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
No, because that's a pretty obvious name.
If you're trying to show that you're undercover, you don't choose a name like Ned.
But that's what he figures. It's like a double blind.
Oh, so you think he's really smart, but he's trying to pretend he's trying to pretend he's not smart.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So let me just summarize what we've got so far. All right. We've got Pinky, who has a gang. And her arch rival is Vladimir de la Guerra. We need to do a little bit more character development on him. Don't forget, we've also got the fake Mick Jagger. And I'm not sure we figured out what his role is in this story. And finally, we have the detective Ned Farias, who's either really, really smart or not that smart. We haven't decided. Oh, Vlad is an old Russian general.
Yes, I saw that. Okay, so I have an idea about the fake Jagger.
Okay.
If this guy thinks or is pretending to be Mick Jagger's son, he could also be pretending he has a lot of money and he wants, to buy some antiques, but he wants the stuff that is not, he wants the black market, antiques. So he could be one of our customers,
Okay, instead of a rival, he's a mark. He's somebody who comes into
There
the
you
antique
go.
store
Yeah.
who's actually legit and
Yes.
is
But he wants the black market stuff that's not available to the general public,
Did you see
And
what Sarah
Vlad that
says?
wants that?
Sarah thinks that Vlad is the person who cut off Pinky's pinky.
Oh, obviously, because they're rival gangs, right?
Like Peter Pan and
Yes. And the Hook.
his
And
nemesis,
Captain,
right?
And Hook.
All right,
Yes. That's great. Yes.
Let's leave these people for a second, because I think if we come up with a location, that might help us with, figuring out more of the plot details. So I'm going to turn this to the people in the chat room again and ask you guys to figure out, where is this story set? Don't be afraid to be exotic. What with the pandemic and all of us being trapped in our homes, we'd all like to travel vicariously to another place, maybe even another time. So give us some ideas. We've got Vegas, a diverse city. Yes, it must be a diverse
Yes, it
city.
needs to be
It
a
has to with
diverse
this
city.
cast of characters, yep.
Different heritage.
Because they all need to blend in and fit in.
Right.
Any more city ideas or?
Come on, people. There's
Any
a whole
place else
world
in the
out there.
world?
Pick some cities.
Could be Istanbul.
Istanbul. Yes, I like that.
Istanbul. I'm leaning towards into Istanbul.
Me too.
And I think in another time period as well.
You always think another time period.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I'm admitting this. I write historical fiction, and I find the present less interesting than the past. And I see this as a black and white movie. Istanbul in the 1940s.
Okay. But it can't be, because then Pinky can't be pink.
That's
That's right. That's right.
All right.
But Istanbul during
It
the
could
time
be in a
was
distant galaxy far,
prevalent.
far away.
Tanya's bringing in her Star Trek and
Yeah, there you
Star
go.
Wars thing.
Right, it's a colony on Mars.
Rio de Janeiro. I could do
Yes,
that.
that would work.
That works with De La Guerra, right?
That's right, it does.
Yes. Well, in fact, again, and I know I'm pushing you back in time, but, Rio was a place where people who were trying to get out of Europe in World War II wound up because they weren't able to get, to the United States. So, imagine this Rio kind of being like Casablanca in this great film.
Well, and Vlad, with his Russian ancestry and his De La Guerra ancestry, Rio de Janeiro would be the perfect place for him to be, wouldn't it?
Right. Exactly.
All right. Yeah. All right. So we've got Rio, and I hope everybody's okay with it being in the 1940s as a a place where people have gone to escape the war.
That's fine. And plus, it was a time when these kind of gangs, these mafia groups were prevalent as well. So that works.
Yeah, there were always criminal black market kind of elements, and actually, it being wartime raises the stakes by having this antique business that's a front. They could be funneling money to somebody or something. We're turning this into an international thriller. Yes, Tanya.
Yes. What if they're bringing artwork from Germany, from Nazi artwork, stolen artwork, into Rio de Janeiro as a way of getting rid of it in North America?
Very good.
That's good. Now, are we going to have a victim? Do we need to have a murder victim or multiple murder victims, or is this going to be a thriller? Such as we've got this antiquity thing going, and it's a a countdown as to whether we can catch the criminals before they.
Well, I like a body. I like to start with a
like
body.
a dead body.
We promised the audience a victim,
Well, if it's a mystery, we need a body. We need to have one. So you folks, can you come up with a dead body, or the name of a dead body, or the location of a dead body?
Or you
kill
can
someone off.
You could kill someone we've already named too.
Yep.
I mean,
if there's someone you don't like, if Pinky's pink clothes, irritates you, or Vlad's difficult to pronounce.
Other than one of the four of us.
There's Albert Roundhorn. We haven't used him yet.
Oh, that's right. He was one of the first names, right?
Yes, right.
Well, Albert is so quiet because he's already dead, right?
There you go.
All right.
We also had Abel Devlin.
Right. Abel seems to me to be one of Pinky's, like guards, or one of those one of
One
her
of her
bodyguards.
bodyguards.
Needs a gang.
Someone who's like, take care of it, Devlin.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Pinky
right.
needs a squad.
Yeah.
Pinky needs a squad. Yeah.
All right, so Devlin's one of them.
All right. Devlin is one of them.
Oh, Gwen is from the British Secret Service.
The body is found at Christ the Redeemer's Church.
Nice.
There you go. That's
All right,
pretty
and
good.
something about
That's quite
the
a
body,
climb, isn't it?
something
Yeah,
about
it
the
is a
body
climb.
or something that's found on the body links it to the antique store, and that's what got Ned involved. Okay, Ned has decided to find that the body, why that body is there. Now Sarah is picking up
Who's
on
Ned?
Ned is
the cop.
Ned Farias.
Oh, Ned
No,
Farias. Okay,
right.
sorry, I completely lost
Right.
track of him because I can't
Ned
see him.
Farias. I suggest that Ned Farias is actually, like OSS, as
Okay.
Sarah has just
Okay.
said. Okay.
Yes, I like that.
When this body of round bottom is
Albert?
found,
Is it Albert or Alfred?
Albert.
tell us
Al.
who it is again.
Albert.
Yeah, what's his
Okay,
last
Albert
name?
Albert
Roundhorn.
Roundhorn.
It was Ron
It's
Horn.
Roundhorn.
Albert
So
Roundhorn.
Albert Roundhorn's body is found at Christ the Redeemer's spot, and something that's found on the body is, a clue that he had been in that antique store, and, probably he hadn't been murdered, at Christ the Redeemer. There's evidence that he
Maybe
was
he's
dead when he was
Priscilla's
dumped
lover,
there.
or he was.
But this gets
Priscilla.
okay. An
Priscilla
engraved
Pennygood,
card.
the antiquity
Oh,
store
right, the
owner.
antiquities, the bird-like
Okay.
lady, yes.
Yeah, so an engraved card in his wallet that showed that he had relations of some sort with the antique lady Priscilla,
Uh-huh.
or it could have.
What's
is
an ostracon?
Sarah Glenn, please explain.
Sarah, can you explain what an ostracon is? I mean, it sounds like it would work because it's very mysterious sounding.
That's right.
Either that or it's a fake something else.
Right.
It's a
that
shard
is
from a
shard.
vase. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
perfect. Yep.
Greek face.
So Jacqueline and Sarah, both said a shard from a, I
Okay,
think that's really good.
that's
That would work.
brilliant. Oh, and it was used to vote someone out of Athens. That's
That's
wow.
really neat that it's in a dead guy's pocket.
Yes.
Okay, and so Ned found this, and Ned, you're right, Linda. He was smart. He knew immediately what it was. He knew that Pinky's antique store was the likely place where that was picked up.
Priscilla, right.
Priscilla's
yep.
antique store. So he goes in there, all sort of casual and acting stupid, and he says, "Oh, I'd like to buy one of these ostracon vases, and I hear you're the place to be." And
she's surprised he even knows how to say a word with that many syllables.
Right.
Well, did he buy the vase or a shard from the vase?
Well,
Because
they
it says an
found a
ostracon
shard
is a
from the
shard
vase.
from
So
the
he's
vase.
looking for the rest of the vase that it went with.
Okay.
Ah, good. I like that.
Wondering if maybe, the person was killed there and then toted to Christ the
Right.
Redeemer's spot.
That's a hike. I would think that the
That is-
person was lured up there and then killed.
they had cars, they threw them in the trunk and drove them up to the top of the hill and
Oh,
dumped
I
the
could do
body.
that.
That's true.
But old Ned is going to the antique store and trying to find out if they do indeed sell that kind of vase.
And maybe if they don't, who else does?
Right. Yeah.
All right, now we got to work these other characters in. Why
So why is
Pinky-
Albert dead?
Okay, why? Yeah, what did he find? What did Albert?
There had to be a
do?
motive for him to, and who killed him? We have to figure out why someone wanted him dead, how they did it.
Well, maybe
Well,
Albert
they
found out that that this ostracon is wanted by the Greek government. It's actually parts of it are being sold on the black market, and
It's true.
Albert was sent to try and recover these pieces.
Oh, Germany
his
was
country.
occupying Greece in World War II,
Mhm.
and why wouldn't they have been looting there,
Right.
as well as all the other places they were looting in Italy and France
Okay.
and whatever? So yeah, this could be a.
But it'd be nice if there was a record of it of having been captured or taken by the Nazis. We need Nazi in here somewhere.
Hmm.
Okay, How
That's
about
who the Jagger guy is.
Oh, the Jagger
Nazi?
guy, yes.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
Jager is a German name, so we're
Yeah.
good.
Hunt means hunt
Okay.
to hunter.
Yeah, so
Jäger.
Sarah
Yeah,
Glenn
very
is
good.
full of historical information.
She sure is.
Ostracism comes from it. You know, I did not know that. I mean,
Love
how
it.
about that? We learned something new. You know, you can learn things in this session. You know,
Okay,
Yeah.
and an
So will
expert-
the readers.
and an expert has to explain this to the others. Is Priscilla expert enough? I mean, we
Yeah,
know that
I would
she's
say
a
she
very
is.
meticulous person
Yeah.
who really keeps close tabs.
Well,
on
and she
things.
and Ned can share information. What one doesn't know, the other one knows, or they can like get together to fill in all the
Guys,
pieces. All the
Look at that.
This is a romance.
okay, you can throw
Ned-
that in. Tanya always wants a romance, so we
Ned
can
and
do
Yeah,
that.
I love
Yeah,
romances.
but look
Ned
what
and
Teresa
Priscilla,
Michael
they're-
wrote,
the two of them
or
are gonna
I think
hit
that
it
was
off.
probably Lisa Malice. I picked Phyllis Jagger because Jagger means hunter.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Right.
we're doing this. So in the course of trying to solve the mystery, Ned and Priscilla fall in love. And then that, of course, means we're going to have one of them in peril at one point, because the arc of a
Right.
romance mystery. And since we are sisters in crime and we are,
She has to
basically a
save
feminist
him.
story, right. She has to save
Exactly. She has to save him.
Yes.
I
But
agree.
we need to get
Yeah.
some methods of, like
Well, maybe
Filling them out.
she comes across the something that is in her shop. Maybe because everybody knows about the murder and is it Ostrakhan? Am I saying it right?
yeah.
Maybe it's one of a pair, and maybe somebody has the other pair and they're trying to unload it, or they're trying to sell it before they get caught. And she, in her capacity as the owner of the store, hears rumblings about it or sees it or whatever, and Ned goes to check it out and then he disappears, and so it's now left up to her to backtrack what happened.
Yeah, but remember that's good. But we also have to keep in mind that we have these two like mafia groups in the background. So
Right.
Well, and that's it. They can be involved in it. Maybe De La Guerra.
Right.
I think he framed Priscilla. Okay, when Ned first comes to the shop, he suspects Priscilla.
Okay.
Because something about that, that thing that was found on the body takes it right back to Priscilla and her shop.
Mm.
But in fact, as Lorraine has suggested, there are actually two of those vases.
Right.
And the one that was used. All right, what if the vase actually, there were shards of it embedded in the wound? He had a head wound, and so there were shards of it embedded in the wound, so that it's the murder weapon. And Ned thinks it's from the shop. He thinks this is the only place in Rio de Janeiro where you could get a vase like this. Priscilla's involved, and he comes in like really suspicious, but then gradually they start working together. And
why would somebody use a priceless vase to bash someone in the head if they're in an antiquity store and they know that that's what it is?
I like Jacqueline's comment. Jacqueline says there's a mysterious inscription on the object.
Yeah, I do like what Jackie said. Now, I still think that Ned is working on behalf, is it Ned who's working on behalf of the Greek government, trying to recover these pieces?
Instead of OSS?
Who did we say we're getting?
We said he was working for OSS.
Okay.
Right.
But on behalf of the Greek government, though, because this is a very important artifact for them.
Okay, but look what Sarah says. An Ostrakhan begins as a piece. So the thing is if it's a piece and it's valuable because it's a piece, it doesn't have anything to do with the vase anymore.
Right.
Oh, and everyone writes the name of the rejected person on it, and then they count it. Okay.
So it's a voting tool.
Sarah, thank you so much for keeping us honest.
So that's what I'm saying. So the vase, we have to do our research, right? We have to do our research. So it really wouldn't be a vase, but maybe something else was left at the scene, and maybe Sarah can help us out here. Maybe another Ostrakhan was found, like one was found in his pocket and one was found in Priscilla's shop or found somewhere else. Or maybe one of the bad guys have another one and they think that, that can point back to the other one. I don't know, or that you can use different things.
Okay. That would work. I think that would work, But,
what if the names inscripted on the shard are names of one of the gangs? And so now the gang knows that they're like voting to vote out
like take out Pinky or De La Guerra.
Take out De La Guerra.
Using them
and
like
they think
hit
that
pieces.
It's Pinky, but it's really somebody in the gang.
What if one of the gang is actually a group of Nazis posing as a mafia group, and the name of that gang, will prove that these people are, Nazis?
What about there's a whole lot more bad guys in Rio than just these two gangs?
Oh, yeah.
And we just have the two gangs that we're talking about, but they're all trying to take each other out. And together they're using these ostracons and fake ones. Somebody said, gee, there's a fake one. And they're trying to do hits on people and take them out. And it's getting real complex because you don't know the real one from the fake one.
Why are they using the ostracon at all?
Right.
Well, we found someone. I mean, if it's found on the dead body, it has to be there for a reason. Maybe we should find something else on the dead body to point back to the antiquity store.
I like the ostracon, but I don't know quite. I don't think
Or
we've
using
quite got
the engraved card to do
yet.
it.
Right.
Maybe she has them in her shop then. Maybe the card that was found on the body. And then maybe
Oh, the
when
card.
Ned and
Don't
everybody
forget.
else goes back, they see them there.
What if it turns out that the rival gang knows that De La Guerra believes in this and knows all about it, maybe he's looking for it, and they put the names of the people in his gang on it as a way to get him knocked off by people in his gang so they don't have to do it.
So this was a setup. That means that Pinky is in fact the evil person.
Right.
Yeah.
And
She's a lot
Pinky's
smarter than she looks.
yeah.
And maybe
So-
that's
She's
why
a lot more
all the
guilty
stuff
than
she
she
does.
looks.
Maybe that's why she does all the, the pink thing and the, all that kind of stuff.
So Pinky really engineered this whole thing as a way of getting back at Vlad, who had
She
been
fooled me.
responsible for the loss of her Pinky.
And maybe he had to
Yes.
have done something else aside from the Pinky. He had to have done something
it has
else.
to be more. Yeah, it has to be more than just the Pinky. There's a lot of people whose lives are going to be at stake here. Do we even have murder weapons? Have we asked for murder weapons yet? Because we do need to know.
I was suggesting the vase, but then we found out that it was just a shard. So how was the body found? How was Round Bottoms?
It was found at Christ the Redeemer spot. By whom?
Yeah.
Who would be there?
Okay, why don't we ask the audience to give us some ideas of
Yes,
different types of
audience, we're
weapons?
stumped. Help us
Yeah,
out.
do we still want the body to be found at Christ the Redeemer spot, or do we want it to be found somewhere else? Like somebody said, it may be too far away.
Yeah,
Didn't Tonya think it might be too far away to be the
I
location
think
of the
it
murder?
would be. I think it would be too far away, and I mean, it just seems like an inconvenience.
Tourist from Alabama in the 1940s.
Give us some weapons, people. Some creative method to, have killed off someone.
An antique knife,
Mhm.
a dagger. Yep.
Yeah,
What else? Anybody else? Can you come up with anything else?
something creative, something different.
Antique
antique
spear.
spear.
That's serious. That's
Yeah.
a serious one.
Oh yeah.
But these are things that are missing from Priscilla's antique store. Maybe these are
Oh
things
yeah.
laid on her
All right,
wall.
so
Which makes sense if Priscilla's behind it.
That seems pretty obvious if they're missing from her antique store. Maybe she's being framed.
Yeah.
That's
maybe
what I think.
maybe they want to
Maybe
frame
we'll
her.
redeem her after all.
well, the thing is,
Ooh.
if you want a love story, do you want her to be the bad guy, and then the love story just has a very unhappy ending?
They
You
don't
could have
to
two
be in love.
lovers
They
who are
could just
mean.
be really good friends.
They could be evil lovers.
Right.
Evil lovers, yeah.
Good.
Strangled with an antique rosary in front of the statue.
The
I
gaucho
kinda like
knife.
that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I want to keep with the Rio theme, and I think if you set a story in Rio, something has to happen on that site because that's what
Yeah, the
everybody
gaucho
knife,
knows as
I
the
use,
site.
in a lot of South American countries, for like cutting meat, that kind of stuff. So, it's a very meat heavy.
Maybe that's how Pinky lost her pinky.
Ooh.
The gaucho knife.
And that might be the link to show that De La Guerra is involved. Maybe that's a signature.
Knife? Could it be the same knife that was used to cut off Pinky's pinky?
Or maybe that's just his signature, that he uses that.
Yes, he uses that knife.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
throwing weapons. Those both. That's
Ebola,
good.
yep.
That can be used to strangle.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like the Ebola being reserved for when we capture the person, that they use
Ooh.
Ebola. To
Oh, when they're
knock
running
them
away,
out
and you
and
get the
catch up.
bullet.
Yes. All right, and Priscilla uses it to rescue Ned.
And Priscilla does it, yes.
She is a whiz with the bola. So
Okay.
at the key moment, she throws that thing and strangles Vlad, and Ned is saved.
She hikes her skirt up above her knees, kicks off her shoes, and just does it. Because she grew up on a horse farm or something.
And she can do it minus a pinky. With the prosthetic pinky doesn't get in the way. She's learned how to work around that. All right. Well, whenever you write a mystery, a writing teacher once told me it's like being a good hostess, and you have to make sure that you've cleaned up, you've picked up all the ashtrays and the stray, canapé napkins, and the room is back to order. So let us review and make sure that we are kind of dealing with all the details that we initially set up. And people in the audience, if you remember anything that we've forgotten, put it in the chat there. So we have two rival gangs, one run by Pinky, one run by Vlad, and there's a real history between the two of them. We know that Pinky lost her pinky, which she's very protective about. Yeah, sensitive about. So sensitive that she wears a glove with a prosthetic pinky so that people don't know this. And she does all her business through this front, which is an antique store run by Priscilla. Priscilla, this very professional and polished woman. And when the story opens, a body has been found up on the Christ of the Redeemer site, and it has been stabbed with a gaucho knife, which we will learn is actually Vlad's signature weapon. But a card and a shard in the pocket found on the body suggest that there is some connection with this antique store. And so our friend Ned, the OSS detective, who recognizes, the victim, or maybe he just recognizes that this shard is something that was looted from the Greek museum by the German occupiers, and he's been, sort of dispatched to find it. He knows that this connects to the antique store, and he goes there expecting to find whoever owns the antique store is knee deep in this mystery. In fact, as he gets to know Priscilla better, and she's very helpful to him, giving him all of this information about what the piece of pottery is, he realizes that she's very earnest and sincere and genuinely is innocent of this crime. And he begins to fall in love with her. But now, here's a piece we haven't done yet. Something happens that gets him in the sights of Vlad or Priscilla. I mean, they could each have reasons. I mean, or Pinky, okay?
See, that's why we don't do names with the same letter, because you keep getting Pinky and Priscilla confused.
All right, but so something he uncovers now. We're at the midpoint crisis of the story.
Okay.
So something he uncovers is putting him in danger now.
So what do you guys think that could be? Can you share that with us? What does Ned come across? He found the engraved card and the pottery shard, and he thinks Priscilla isn't the bad guy.
Come on, people, stay with us. We're getting to the crux of the story now.
And we're getting tired.
Don't let us down.
Anything. They have to type. They can't type as fast as we do.
A telegram.
Oh, a telegram.
Thank you, Jack.
Ooh,
Jacqueline.
ooh.
Oh, a telegram. Okay.
Right. Yes, and
he gets
telegrams
a
are so
telegram
much-
and he doesn't tell anyone what it's about,
Okay.
but he'll be back.
Okay.
So
The
where's the
telegrams-
telegram from? Right? I mean, you got to be able to see who, when you go talk to whoever received it, they'll say it was.
Pinky's pink revolver.
What about it? We have dropped that little piece of information. It's true. We forgot about Pinky and her pink revolver. And does that play a role? Because that's the little detail that you can't introduce a revolver in the beginning of the story and not use it. Right.
But back then they didn't have the forensics we have now. So if it was used in a crime, they wouldn't have known it back then.
It could just be her trademark. I mean, this is something Pinky really needs to keep a close watch on because it's like a fingerprint for her.
So maybe she left it behind at the antiquities shop?
That's a pretty obvious clue. Oh, it's a pink revolver. It's got to belong to Pinky, The head
But
of
maybe it
Maybe
isn't.
Maybe she uses pink bullets and they find the bullet inside him.
Pink revolver.
But he's been
Nice
been
touch.
killed with a knife, so I'm not sure.
So
about that.
Jacqueline says the telegram is from international police source. Maybe it's from the OSS.
And that lets everybody know that
yeah.
Ned isn't who he says he is.
That's right. And Pinky actually holds him at gunpoint with her pink revolver and takes the telegram from him. She sees that he's received it and she reads it, and then she knows that they're on to her.
And a witness saw the pink revolver. Someone walking by the shop couldn't see what was going on, but they saw the pink revolver.
Okay. Did you see what Sarah wrote? Maybe she keeps the bullets in the glove instead of a fake finger.
It could be. No one knows that she lost her finger. So as long as she's always wearing gloves, she's always got a supply of backup bullets when she needs them.
She doesn't have to stick a magazine in her purse, a clip in her purse, rather.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So let me see if I can continue narrating the story here. All right. So Ned, who is, still investigating this crime, this international crime, he receives a telegram that tells him that Pinky is involved in this. And before he can act on it, Pinky holds him up with her gun and takes the telegram from him. So then she knows that he is on to her. And at that point, someone hits him over the head and puts him in a car. And they're maybe going to take him back up to Christ the Redeemer. I don't know.
That's a really pretty busy place these days.
but Priscilla at this point, who, nobody suspects that she is any good at anything because she gives off this, very meek and sort of, intellectual.
And she's in cahoots with Pinky.
Whatever. But Priscilla loves him.
Right.
And she's going to rescue him. And
no one expects it.
She brings her bolas because she has that skill. and she somehow manages to follow the car that's taking him up, winding up along those things. We get a great car chase coming in here. I think visually, in turns, and she gets up to the top and sort of Pinky and her henchmen, doesn't she have henchmen, right? They're dragging
Devlin.
Right. They're
Devlin, right.
They're dragging the semi-comatose Ned out of the car, and like setting him up. Oh, okay. They're going to set it up to make it look like Vlad killed him by using the knife.
Right.
His trademark knife. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to set him up to do that. And before they can, Priscilla gets her bola, and manages to, knock Devlin out. Now,
but maybe she even went with them, because if she's in cahoots with Pinky, no one would expect it. That's so right. She could actually go right with them, understand exactly what they're going to do and how. Yes. Right?
Okay, yes. And no one suspects
How would she
her.
hide her bola then?
Yeah.
In her handbag.
That's a pretty heavy handbag.
I mean, can't you put anything in your handbag?
Yeah, I would have her in her car, and she always.
Maybe she drives by herself then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody goes without their bolas in the car.
Maybe she keeps a whole bunch of her like antique weapons in the trunk of a car. She's got bolas in there. She's got an here.
And
She's
she
got a bow
knows
and arrow. I mean, come on. She has
Maybe she went on a buying trip and she has stuff there.
right.
and
the
she
thing is,
knows how she
No
knows
one's
how
going to be
use,
surprised when she's there. When she shows up, they're not going to be alarmed because she's Pinky's compatriot.
right. And
That's
she
the
knows
point,
how to
right?
use. She
You can
knows
open
how
the
to
trunk
use
of her
every
car
single
and-
weapon.
She's got like all these weapons to choose from.
Yeah.
And she sees the bola and it's like, whoa,
But she goes
that's
with
my
the
favorite.
bola.
Now, Carol Jones has brought in one last twist,
Yes.
which is that Vlad is
Vlad-
following Priscilla.
Okay.
So
Why?
Well, because they're rivals.
No, Priscilla owns the antiquity store.
Right.
Maybe he has something he was going to drop off that would get back to that Astrakhan thing. Maybe, again, maybe he deals with her as well. And that's how Pinky keeps track of him. Maybe no one knows Priscilla works for Pinky.
Maybe Pinky and Vlad are really lovers and nobody knows it.
And right.
Be hard to get
And they're
over.
just trying to pretend that they're
Hard to get over the missing finger thing, don't you think?
Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe she told everyone it was him, so they'd have a good reason for them to think she hated him. But maybe that wasn't it. Maybe it was someone else.
Maybe Vlad.
Jacqueline says maybe he's his ex-husband.
Oh, well, that could
Well,
be.
how about Vlad? Maybe he just thinks that Priscilla has something that he wants, that he thinks that she has something on her person that he wants, something. I mean, it could be as simple as this is a greedy rival gang who wants the same thing that Pinky's gang does. And he's convinced that Priscilla is either leading him to it, or she has something on it that she wants, that he wants,
Well, this is a really promising story. And I just think we've got to wrap it up now because we're coming to the end of our time. And I'm going to announce, by the way, that Janet Hessian has won a prize of a book, I believe it is, for being a part of this event.
Yes, yay, Janet.
Very good.
Janet
Congratulations.
Hessian, if you're out there, congratulations on your prize win. And now we must wrap up the story because there are other events after hours. So let's get a conclusion here. Oh, excuse me. Let me just stop a minute. Janet needs to message the organizers of this event by going back into the virtual booth that's on the event hub place and give them her contact information so they know where to send her prize. You got that? Got that, Janet Hessian? Okay, so back to the ending. We've got just a few minutes here. We need to wrap this up. Can anyone tell us how they'd like to see this story end? We've left a few things hanging, like whether Priscilla and Ned, should have a happily ever after ending, whether they should both have one more twist, maybe where one of them turns out to be evil or where both of them turn out to be evil.
Somebody wants Pinky to cut something off Vlad. That person believes in evening the score and balancing the scales.
I'm okay with that.
With the cigar cutter.
How do you want to see it end, people? Do you want to see Priscilla and Ned end up together? Do you want to see her decide that, hey, everyone falls in love with me. I'm that kind of gal. I'm just running my antique store. And
I will save you with Ebola if I get a chance, but don't ask for anything more from me because you might get cat hair on my suit.
I did like that. Sarah did mention it's a little too late for it now, but I like the fact that she could have had a finger cut off with a cigar cutter. I mean, cigars down south in South America, that would have been perfect.
All right, so we're going to give Priscilla a chance to get back at Vlad. Pinky is going to get back at Vlad. Priscilla and Ned are going to end up together. And
we need a shootout.
A shootout?
And I think the bola needs to hit Vlad. Take him out when she takes out the other guy.
Why not?
Collateral damage, huh?
Take both of them.
Instead of a
Right.
shootout,
No, she's
Sarah
just
Glenn,
that good with the bola.
Sarah Glenn, will you be
We have to have-
satisfied with, instead of a shootout, with more bola action?
No, I think we have two rival gangs. We have to have some kind of a shootout. We've had a car chase, we have a murder. We have to have some kind of a shootout
We
between
had
the
the knife.
gangs.
Someone has. Well, Pinky's the one with the pink revolver, so she'll have to shoot Vlad.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the pink revolver.
Mhm.
You got
Maybe
right,
they're
because
all
you said we have to
fighting.
tie it up,
Shooting it
Lisa.
out by the Christ the Redeemer statue. I mean, that's where all the action is taking
She
place.
shoots
All right.
the statue.
Now, what about this? Okay, what about if I am good with a major conflict with any items people like? Okay, we're glad to hear that, Sarah. How about this? All right, how about if Priscilla and Ned leave the gang members there fighting it out with whatever weapons they want to use and just walk away happily?
And you
ever
hear all the
after?
shooting.
Okay,
And you hear the shooting instead of music.
Okay. So how about this? The rival, they know that there's the two rival gang members are there. They know that they're going to end up, having a shootout. Pinky tells Abel to take Ned, off into the woods or into the distance to kill him. And Priscilla follows them, use her bolas on Ned. Use her bolas
Devin.
on people and rescues Ned, and they drive off. And meanwhile, in the distance, you can
Right.
tell the two rival
Everybody
gangs
shooting it off. There you go.
out.
There you go. Perfect.
Apocalypse with romance. It's
Right.
a nice ending
And then tie everything up all at the same time with the
Right.
bola.
with the bola.
The bola.
Right.
Well, people, this was a lot of fun. And I want to thank you all for all of your wonderful suggestions. We never know when we go in what kind of a story we're going to end up with. And I can tell you, I've done quite a few of these, and I have never written a story like this one.
This is like the best. I love the humor and the comedy. This is so good. We're going to have to, start incorporating comedy into our, I guess you can't have comedy and noir though, can you, Lisa?
We can do what we want. We make
There you
our
go.
own rules.
But from everyone, from Priscilla and Pinky and Ned and Abel and Vlad, from all of us and them, we want to thank you for attending.
And thank you for
Definitely.
all of your wonderful suggestions.
Yes, thanks so much. We wouldn't have anywhere near the fun without you folks.
No.
We know each other too well. We like the
Thank you.
surprise.
So we need something. So let me just say that this program, like all of our festival programming, has been recorded and will be available for viewing through the YouTube channel for the Florida Gulf Coast Sisters in Crime chapter. And now stay tuned to the Florida Gulf Coast Sisters in Crime booth. You got to go back there for another fun event at 2:00, Dead End Jobs, hosted by Elaine Viets. It's a conversation among 4 fabulous sisters and misters in crime, discussing how their crime-related training and work bleed over into their stories and characters. Other features authors will include Lisa Black, J.J. Hensley, and Annette Dashofi. Thank you all for coming. Goodbye and have fun.